Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tokusatsu Network YouTube channel. Today we are talking about Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. I'm Tom Constantine. I'm a senior editor here, and I'm with.
I'm Yasin. I'm the managing editor.
Hi, I'm Jorge. I'm a senior editor.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I am going to be the editor-in-chief of TokuNet by June.
Just before we begin, I would just like to say a very big thank you to everyone who watches our YouTube channel, because we just hit 9,000 subscribers, and somehow, and it sounds ridiculous every time I say it, because I don't believe it's real, 3 million views.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, where did that come from?
Not me.
The lovely, the lovely people who watch.
You.
All right, so first things first. The very first time you saw the picture of the teams, of the two teams, or the title, what was your very first impression?
Yeah, so for me, the very first impression I had was Sentai really moving into a new era. And that's mostly because the first time I saw a picture of the title, the thing that stood out to me the most was the verses, and just realizing, wow, this isn't a movie, this is an actual main Sentai TV series. We're like in a totally new era now.
Yeah, I thought the fact that it was two teams was like kind of mind bending. Like it broke my brain for a bit. Once we saw the suits, honestly, I didn't like the suits at first. I didn't like the look of the Patrangers. Lupinrangers, I like the suits, but the helmets look weird, and I still don't know about the helmets because it's like a hat on a helmet. It's weird.
Yeah, I think I feel that way with Patranger, just the suit. Mm-hmm. The suits, for them, I think that's right in the middle of their helmet. I don't like, but I really gravitated towards the Lupinranger. You know, their helmet is really cool with the hat there. The capes, I mean, I love a good cape suit design is always really cool. So that was my first impression, is I totally gravitated towards Lupinranger.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
they both looked kind of plain, but I always think black works as a really nice accent color on Sentai suits, so Lupinranger for me too.
What did you think about the versus format?
I think it's quite a different approach than what we've seen before with Sentai. This versus format, I think we've seen in Kamen Rider before, and it's been done really well in Kamen Rider, or at least maybe not versus itself, but the two-team idea does really well in Kamen Rider most of the time. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to pan out in this Sentai.
I guess the biggest thing I've been thinking about is how they're going to balance the teams. I know, we're coming off Q-Ranger that has more Rangers on a team than anyone else. And it's a good show, but clearly there are members of the team that are left behind as far as focus goes. So I wonder how that's going to go when you have not just 6 people starting out, but like 2 completely different teams.
I feel like if it's 2 different teams, maybe there's more chance for them to highlight everybody, because each team is going to have focus, and within that team, you're focusing on 3 people. So I don't know. It may work a little bit better than having 12 people on screen and you only know about half of them or something like that. As far as the, Phantom Thief versus the police, I think it's really cool that it's not just that. It's also, they also have villains as well. So you have 3 factions fighting each other at the same time. And that can bring on a lot of cool elements story-wise and action-wise, having all 3 teams on one battlefield and having them sort of fend off 2 different teams at the same time is really cool. I think it can make this show really fun.
I think one of my first, I wouldn't say concerns, but like the mecha, how's the mecha not going to work? Is it going to have 2 mecha straight from the beginning, or are they going to combine just for the mecha fights? Do they kind of work together to fight the monsters, but then fight inwards? Or
well, what we know right now is that the mecha each share like one main body piece,
Mm-hmm.
and that's called Good Striker, and it looks like it's a sentient robot that picks who it wants to help out any given episode in.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't think we're ever really, at least at the start, we're probably not going to see both robots on screen at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It might be too much to ask the parents' kids, the kids' parents to buy two mechas right from the get-go. All right, moving into the first mini trailer that we got to see, where we actually got to see the suits in action. Did your opinions change for the better, the worst? Because I know the miniature sets shot was amazing to me. I thought that was my best part.
I agree.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people, even people who don't really talk about action sequences, seem to really like that shot. So I think across the board, it's, people are gonna really enjoy that aspect, at least in the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer had a really good. Well, it seemed like the mini trailer focused quite a bit more on Lupinranger than Patranger. So to me, that solidified the idea that I really liked that team over everything. So I'm curious to see is going to be the focus. Then how are they going to follow their storyline and follow Patranger? How are they going to coincide?
Yeah, that's been my biggest, not concern, but like point of interest of the show is how exactly do you balance these two teams? Do you, do Kamen Rider where the stories just intermingle with each other, or do you give like each team a focus episode on a rotating basis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, because from what we know, it seems like the Lupinranger team has like more motivation behind them. Like more about what they're after, and the Patranger just kind of seem like a generic, police force or whatever. So
yeah, like
they seem like
it makes it seem like the Lupinranger is going to get the most focus.
Like the Lupinrangers are the heroes, and the Patrol-Rangers are more the antagonists to them.
I feel like it's going to be like GTA, where you're the bad guy and you just ups the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like with Patranger, they really do feel like it's a job to them, whereas the Lupinrangers have a motivation for becoming a Sentai. And since they're thieves, I think there's more of a possibility to explore their characters, because they're, not only do they have to become Sentai heroes, but they also have to become thieves, and they're doing this so they can, regain very important people to them. So there's sort of, the idea that they're becoming bad guys so they can get back what they lost. And to me, that immediately sounds more interesting than like, we're cops.
All right. Question. This may be a dumb question. So when they become Lupinrangers, they become thieves, or were they thieves that become Sentai heroes?
That's interesting. We don't know yet.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I thought I was under the impression that they were already thieves, and they become Sentai because they have people that they want to save.
Who knows? They could have all originally been Patranger-Rangers, and then they switched to, for whatever reason, because they got the same henshin devices. So
right.
But so 2 days ago on Friday, it was the main press event for introducing the cast and loads more information about the show, and then like the first long trailer came out.
I love that trailer. Like that trailer won me over. Even with the Patranger like suits and all that, like it looks better in motion. I love how both teams look in action. Like the choreography looks like it's going to be very different between the two, and I like how flashy the Lupinrangers are, and how I don't know if it's strict, but like by the books the Patrangers move. It's really cool distinction. The cast looks pretty cool. Not too, how do you say? The Lupin Red actor, I'm not sure about yet, but everybody else seems pretty like they have something to bring to the table.
I think the definite highlight for me, at least, in that trailer was the action, because that looked really creative. Everyone kind of looked, had their own personality type in the way that they fought, and it was very unique. And so that's definitely probably the main thing I'm actually going to try and watch it for. But
yeah, I'm definitely going to look forward to that too.
But we don't know who the suit actors are yet. We don't know if it's still Fukuzawa doing the action directing for it. Maybe it's different because they keep on changing who does what colors and everything recently in the past couple of years.
Fukuzawa's credited as action director on the website.
Okay, then I was wrong about that.
I do think that Takeuchi's Patranger Nichigo, and that would be really cool because the dude never gets to be red, and I would have been really upset if in a show with 2 reds he doesn't get to be one.
It's like a whole seniority thing, isn't it? Like he's got to be red.
I'm just like upset he's not Lupin red. I enjoyed the action in the trailer, but watching it over just now, I realized that the action I enjoyed, the majority of it came from the Lupinrangers. They're much more elegant and showy in their action, and the Patrangers seem very by the books. They have precise movements, and I can respect that goes with their character. But to me, that seems kind of dull in action, especially when you compare it to like how in your face and bombastic the Lupinranger suits are. Action, rather.
I think it would be really cool, like when we get to watch the episode, to see them 2 fight and how the styles mix.
Right.
That could work really well, hopefully.
I feel like the Patrangers, like they kind of have a fighting style similar to Go Busters, where it's very efficient and like all about like close quarters, like combat or whatever, but they're more streamlined in that way. Whereas like Go Busters had a very intricate style where it's like it felt like special forces.
Yeah,
these guys
they
kind
did
of
a lot
feel
of
more
grappling and
and
very quick cuts.
Which that kind of because in one way it would be cool to see like Takeuchi as Patranger Ichigo do like a bunch of like grappling and hold moves to like sort of apprehend people, but at the same time he's known for being very acrobatic and like doing crazy flips and crazy like stunts. So if he was Lupin Red, he'd add a whole lot to that. But we don't know yet.
What about the human versions of the cast?
I like all of them except for Patranger and Ichigo.
But man, I'm the opposite.
So there's a moment in the trailer the Lupin Red gets like kind of screamy, but I don't know, like I feel like his delivery on a lot of lines is really almost kind of intense. Just when he's talking to what's his face, Kogure, the butler. I don't know. There's this gravity when he's saying like, "Don't forget the promise you made with us," and I think if he can keep that tone as compared to being a screamy red, I'm really gonna like him.
Really? Didn't like that scene with the butler didn't sell me on him at all. Like it kind of felt like bad acting to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Well, Sentai is a bit of a staple for bad acting, I must say.
Well, true, yeah.
Yeah, and we could be surprised. He could evolve over time as a character. I mean, he could basically pull Lucky, where Lucky was like just so frankly annoying. Just he's going to change over time and with experience too.
That's true. Lucky has given faith in a lot of Sentai actors.
One of the additional cast happens to be an American person.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that in particular.
Sports an incredibly awesome moustache. He Director Hilltop.
I just love that name.
Director. Do you know what? It's really funny because it's Director Hilltop, which is like a Japanese kind of impression or thought of what an American cop sergeant would be like. And we've got like in Die Hard, the Nakatomi Yama Plaza is like what Americans think a Japanese company would be called. Because that's not even a real name in Japan.
Yeah.
Director Hilltop.
It's definitely kind of stereotypical, but I still think him being a person of color in that role, quite frankly, a lot of directors and stuff like that, a lot of those character types get to be a Sentai hero themselves. That is a great thing that he's in that role.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see any foreigner in any role in Tokusatsu.
That's true. I really hope he like channels Lethal Weapon.
Right, because he's got to be based on like 80s cop drama, cop action movies, right?
Because
that's what he looks like.
The mustache and even like the name was it Hilltop?
Hilltop. Yeah.
Hilltop.
So like when I heard that, the first thing that came into mind was Hightower, and I looked it up and that's from Police Academy.
Oh, it's Police Academy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, was that a reference to that in a weird way? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm really interested because I mean I didn't really know who the actor was before he got cast, but seeing that he's like an up and coming, I guess he's a comedian. Is he a comedian or is he more just talent?
Yeah, he more of a comedian, I think. They tend to do a lot of these TV shows where they get like a group of foreigners in Japan and like send them off to different places around Japan to see how they react, and he does a lot of those kind of shows. He also does variety shows where they dance and sing, things like that.
Yeah, he was one of the main presenters on this like a kids variety show for a really, really long time. And like he actually has this piece on Vice where he talked about wanting to just be more present on TV that kids are watching, so they'll become used to the idea that foreigners can look different, and you know they're not necessarily like one-trick ponies, that they're actual people.
Right.
The next character is Jim Carter. He's the helper robot. I hear that.
I thought that was going to be Hilltop's name.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? But I keep thinking of Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. But why is it the robot?
It's such a weird design too.
Let me see. I haven't seen it. I've seen this design, but I haven't looked at it really closely yet. Kind of looks like a Sentai robot in the 80s.
It doesn't.
The handlebar just makes me think of Kiria, Kamen Rider Laser, like his his little handlebars in his chibi form, his level 1 form.
Wait, I wonder if this guy's supposed to be like a Segway, because he has wheels
I was looking at that, yeah.
And yeah, the sirens could be handlebars.
Oh my god, I just realised his head is a police cap.
Yeah.
And his head is actually on his chest.
Oh yeah, because he's got the tie in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't understand the things on his knees. Like, what? Why is?
I feel like at some point this thing has to combine with something or become some sort of weapon.
He transforms into, like a Segway or something along those lines. Ooh, can we integrate more bikes into Sentai? That could work.
He'd be like, get on, guys.
He's definitely going to be a bike.
So this time we've got 2 reds. It happened in Q-Ranger. There were 2 reds there. Do you think that's going to start becoming a bit more of a thing, maybe?
It's hard to tell if Q-Ranger, because it's not like he was there from the start. If he was there from the start, that would present a very, that question of like, who's the real main character? But Tsurugi's definitely a sort of, he's your typical 6 Ranger, basically. Here, it's... honestly, I'm surprised that Yasuko Kobayashi isn't writing the show, because all her shows have 2 Red Rangers.
Did she do
Time Ranger?
Time Ranger?
Yeah. Yeah, she did Time Ranger.
To see what's going to happen. I think we all talked about how we're not sure how the show is going to balance the 2 teams. And I think that transitions to how are they going to balance the reds? Because traditionally, the red gets so much attention throughout the season. So how are they going to balance the two of them and also balance the other teammates?
I think they're going to balance the two and sacrifice the other Rangers. Like, they're not going to get any focus.
A shame, because the others look fantastic and probably are going to show to have a lot of personality.
Right.
I feel like maybe yellow and green are going to get the short end of the stick. Everyone else feels like they have some sort of thing going for them. Like, for instance, pink is described as being very neutral on the Lupinrangers, so I think that's going to come up and be a thing. Blue is missing a girlfriend, so that's going to provide drama. Yellow, like, she's missing her friend, and that I don't see that being a huge point of interest. And green just seems like, a greenhorn, basically. He's a new guy.
One thing I noticed from the trailer, and I think a lot of people noticed from the trailer, they have real guns.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
They just stormed that room with real guns.
Freaking shotgun, dude.
Yeah, he had a shotgun, which was really intense.
He was not messing around.
Did they have that in, like, 80s Sentai or whatever, where they actually used guns?
Changeman.
I'm just thinking of the first episode where he's got a machine gun.
Right.
5 Man, he ran in the first episode or second episode, he runs in with a minigun.
The Gold Rangers were like gunned down. Well, their organization was.
All right.
I'm trying to think of when was the last time
Jack,
they had guns.
Last time.
What, Oranger? Did they have guns? No. It was a military setting, so.
I think they had assault rifle like the people. Time Ranger did. They had guns. Because the opposing team.
Instance, though.
Yeah, Time Ranger might have. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, what, 17 years since we've had a Sentai that had, like, actual, legit, real-life guns in a show.
So basically, it hasn't happened since Lupin Red's actor was born.
Oh,
oh Jesus.
Just take that in.
Wow. So do you guys think that's because of the time change? That they're becoming more, like, they have a little bit more freedom to add things that are maybe a tiny bit more edgy than what they used to be able to do?
I think that could be a factor. A later time means maybe the younger kids aren't on the TV, or maybe they are, though. I mean, it's hard to say.
I think, you still have the young kids there, but you have the older brothers. So the audience is wider. One of the early articles mentioned that, for all of Sentai's history, it's been about, the heroes of justice versus the organizations of evil. Whereas in Kamen Rider, one of the big iconic staples is that the heroes will often fight each other over differences in ideology. And I think maybe it won't be like a huge drastic change all at once, because that, even in a new time slot, that's a lot for Sentai to ask. But I think you will start to get into those gray areas and Sentai pushing into themes that maybe older shows would do only on very, very rare occasions.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could appreciate that, because Sentai definitely can lack mature themes. Some seasons have been better than others in that regard. Would be interesting if they could explore more mature topics now.
I can understand why they didn't really change Q-Danger that much, because it was like 2/3 already done, and they would probably just wouldn't bother, because why would you? But this, it's like right from the beginning. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. So who knows?
It was like the first or second episode when they changed time slots. Like, Lucky gets shot in the gut, and it's like really graphic.
Yeah.
Well, not really graphic, but more graphic than Sentai's done in a while.
Yeah, and
it's more realistic than Shinosuke getting shot with a giant cannon and like his suit jacket not getting a single scratch in it.
That's true.
30 minutes makes all the difference on Japanese TV.
Yeah.
So the next big thing is, at the moment, there are no modular collectibles. There's no Q-Tama. There's no.
Well, it's the little machines, isn't it?
But those are the mecha.
Yeah, but they also. I feel like they're collectibles in the sense that the Russia were collectibles.
But
the toy catalog already showcased an extra, but I don't know offhand if the toy catalogs for previous shows with collectibles showcased a whole bunch.
But at least at the moment, they haven't showcased something as. How many Q-Tama are there now?
Oh, 88?
3,000.
But there's also like the exclusive ones and the Terebi-kun ones and the you know it's ridiculous. Even Build we're like episode 25. What are we now? I'm so far behind.
17.
And how?
No. Oh yeah.
How many full bottles are there already?
Like 20. They recently discovered there's going to be like 60.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I guess looking back at the toy catalog there is a new mech in there, but you could very much see it as a typical like add-on mech, not a collectible.
So it'd be like Zero where they have like the giraffe cannon thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're
how that's going to be then.
Yeah, like I wonder if they're not necessarily if they're just trying to integrate it more with the changer. Like Juoger, it didn't have, none of the cube animals could integrate with the changer. But here, all of the mecha, even if they're not collectibles, there's some cross-play in there. So I wonder if that's something they're going to focus more on as opposed to the whole collectible aspect.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last time they went off the modular was Gorebusters. And
No, Zero.
Well, collectibles was
but I mean,
Gorebusters didn't have like mechas.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
But I mean, at least with Georgia, there were lots of stuff that you could collect. They didn't interact with the changes, but there was the collectible stuff, the gashapons. Gorebusters didn't have any of that.
Well, Georgia didn't have collectibles in the way that recent Sentai had. Like there were gashapons and stuff, but like it wasn't. They weren't like the Nin Shuriken, they weren't like the Resha, they weren't like the batteries. And I think that's also why Juoger did really, really bad.
Yeah, there is a trend that when they don't focus on the collectibles, the toy sales are going to fall. Because I believe I've heard that the toy sales for Q-Ranger are doing very well right now.
They are doing okay.
They initially did very well, and then afterwards kind of went.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Which is fine.
They are around the level that Sentai made during the year Go Busters ran. And I say the year Go Busters ran because Sentai had like 3 other toy lines that year, so it's hard to say how much of that was Go Busters. But it's definitely an improvement from Joger. And I feel like they're still in a very transitional period with Ninja. That was the first Sentai that had collectibles that straight up bombed. So Zyuohger was maybe trying to future-proof that to see if they could make another Sentai without collectibles that would do well, and it didn't do well. Q-Ranger brings back the collectibles. It doesn't bomb, but it doesn't do as good as the shows before Ninja. So I really feel like they're at the stage where they don't quite know what to do, and they're just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, I suppose I had a worry that they would just keep on doing collectibles. And it feels like they're increasing the amount that you have to collect. But it seems, at least with this, they're not initially saying, hey, look, there's 120 of these whatevers that you've got to collect.
Right. What do you guys think of the changers?
Yeah. They look kind of plain.
Yeah.
Comparatively, yeah. But I guess I don't mind that if there is a collectible that would jazz it up a bit, I guess is what I would say.
I do like how the mecha interact with them. The planes, they land on the plane, the cars ride into the cars on the changer. So it does seem like there's a bit of a theme going on there, so it's not as boring as like a black piece of plastic that holds some batteries like in Jeed.
I also like that the Lupin mechs have the lock dial on it. That's really cool.
Say that again, sorry?
The Lupinranger mech device thing, when they put it into their changer, they have to crack the code of the safe with the, the dials. They say 101, and then they transform.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, knowing everything that we know now, seeing the trailers, seeing the cast, which do you prefer out of the two teams? I'm gonna refer at the beginning to a Twitter poll that I started yesterday, with 247 votes in total. 67% like Lupinranger, whereas 33% like Patranger.
Yeah, I'm on that board too. Lupinranger. I'm all about it.
There's just a lot more to like about Lupinranger right now. Their characters have a lot more going for them in the descriptions. The suits look cooler. The action looks cooler. They are the first thieves in Sentai. Like, it's an actual team of thieves. I'm personally a huge fan of like the Kaitou motifs. I love Lupin the Third. I really like Kaitou Joker, so it's really cool to see the gentleman thief aspect integrated into Sentai. With Patranger, it's just like, yay, more cops. I wasn't a fan of Deca Ranger. Yay.
So yeah, I don't know who to pick, because I like everything that's going on with the Lupinranger. They have more going with them character wise. They have more story to them, and the suits look better than the Patranger. But I also like Deca Ranger, so I do like police Sentai from time to time. So the only thing I don't like about the Patranger is the suits.
I think I'm on the same wavelength as you, Yasin. But I like the Lupinranger suits, but I prefer the characters of the Patranger out of suit.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of half and half, which is annoying because that's not what the question is. It's pick one. So I'm probably gonna go with Patranger if I was gonna have to pick one.
Yeah, I may go
split up into our own teams, where it's like we're the Lupinrangers and you guys are the Patrangers.
Yeah. Go youth.
Gotta arrest these guys. Anyway, okay.
Getting too old for this shit.
God, can you imagine if he says that? Director
He's got to.
He's gotta say something like that.
Yeah.
The actor has to bring it up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the writer is Junko Mura, and the only other show to their credit is Jorge as the writer. And I'm kind of worried about that. I liked episodes Komura did before Jorge. They did a lot of really fun ones, but I was not a fan of Jorge at all.
Yeah, that's a bit worrisome. Jorge definitely didn't have the best story.
And also the producer is Takaki Utsunomiya. I've only ever liked one show from him, and that's TokuNet. He did, was it Shinkenger, Goanger, Wizard, and TokuNet. So I don't have the best track record with the creative people on this show, but I really want to be good.
We'll have to see how it pans out, because I know the staff has definitely worked on some shows that have just flopped.
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible with their together and this new interesting concept, I think it could work well.
Yeah, I was going to Sentai hopeful.
Yeah.
As much as I do find it very interesting to talk about staff, it can really just depend on what the shows ends up like. Because sometimes a staff who's done really, really good shows then ends up making something that's not so good. Or people that have only worked on not so good shows end up making a really good one. Mm-hmm. It's a bit like pulling, it's all random sometimes. But see what the first episode's like. Go from there.
Yep.
No, we can't even rely on the first episode because we don't know what the formula is going to be like. Sentai, it's weird now.
That's true. The first episode of Q-Ranger wasn't great.
It really wasn't.
Like, everybody hated Lucky.
I think maybe within like the first 5, hopefully we'll get the idea of the formula.
Give it the anime 3.
Yeah, but then everyone really liked the Girlbusters first episode, and I remember at the time me going, something not quite right here. Something not right. Something's going to go wrong here. All right, let's end this. Thank you very much for coming on, guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
Bye.
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 Bye.